Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to answer the age-old caravanner's question, is it better to fill your water tanks from the top or from the bottom? We're also going to empty our tanks once we have them filled the first time to see just how many usable litres of water we can get out of them. So stay with us and we'll show you just how many litres you can put in and out. So put your bets on. Hi, I'm Ken.
Hi everyone.
And I'm Julie.
And we've gone caravanning. Join us today as we share our experience going whilst travelling this great country. Okay, so we're going to fill them from the top first. So I've emptied the tanks out. I've also, our drain holes on our tanks are at the front on this side of the van. So we've actually jacked the caravan up a little bit on the other side and lowered the front a bit to make sure we get as much water out of the tanks to start with as possible. So I've put that back down now. The caravan is level. So let's turn it on and let's see how we go, eh? So we have a water meter here. So we'll zoom in and out on that a few times if we can, and we'll show you just what's going on. But alrighty, let's get it on. Let's turn them on. Now we have the bird beak filler. These are great. Makes it easy to turn them on and off. And away we go. Alrighty. So I'm just going to come across and see how many litres we're putting in per minute. I'm actually 21 litres a minute. I'm going to slow that down just a touch so we're getting a nice smooth transfer in there. $19.87, something like that. Alrighty, so we're just going to let that fill up. As we get towards the end, um, we'll check this to see how it's going. We'll come across now. Already we've put in 25 litres. So these are 95 litre tanks. So hopefully we can get up into well into the top 80s, something like that. But who knows? We'll see how we go. All right, we're just going to turn that off now. We'll come back just as we get up towards the 80 litre mark. So, yeah, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we're just coming up to the 70 litre mark now. Just zoom in there, Julie. Just have a look at that. 71, 72, 73. So we have turned the flow down a little bit. I've just brought it down to 12.9 litres a minute, just to give a much more steady flow into the tanks. So 75. Starting to get a few little spatters out of it. 76, 77. All righty, so 78 litres, that's all we got into it this time. You can see there I've stopped it on that. So yeah, 78 litres. So I'm just going to write that down and then we'll swap into the other tank and we'll see what we can get in the other one. Top 78 litres. All righty, we'll move that over. Turn that one on. Alrighty, as you can see, just come in, Julie, just to have a look at that. That's flow, and we're just coming up to 6 or 7 litres. This is going to be a little bit slower, this one. But, yep. So what we'll do is we'll turn the cameras off, and once again, we'll come back to you when we're up towards around the 70 litre mark. So, yeah, we'll see you soon. Okay, guys, we're just coming up for 70 litres now. So hopefully we get a bit more in this one than the last one. Uh, but it's sounding like it might be going to fill up pretty soon. We're up to 73 there. So there we go now, 74. Now stand back a little bit here or we might get wet, I think. We're just going to let that dribble a little bit. But yeah, I think that'll do us. Okay. So it says 77.5. We've probably got 0.5 on the ground, so I think I'll write 77 litres down for that one. So yeah. So yeah. Alrighty. So what's that? So 155 litres in total. I'll just go through here. It should give me a total on here. Yeah, 155 litres, point 6. So yeah, 95 and 95 is 190. So Uh, yeah, a little bit disappointed in that. It will be interesting to see how we go when we fill them up from the bottom. But before we do that, we're actually going to see just how many of those 155 litres of water are actually usable by what we're going to do is we're going to put our hose onto our front tap and put the meter onto that. So we'll do that now. I need to just turn that off there. Okay. Okay. And all right, we're going to now see how many usable litres we can get from that 155 litres we've put in through the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the pump on in the Caravan. I've got a hose connected to the front tap and we're going to pump out. Now we're going to pump out one tank at a time. We're going to pump out of our number one tank first, the front one, which is in front of our axles. And normally that's the one we would leave empty most of the time. When we travel, we generally keep, and we're not staying off grid, we will generally keep the one between the axles full and leave the front one empty. That's about 90 kilos in weight or maybe a little less going on the figures we just showed you. But we know that when we have the one between the axles full, the Caravan is very stable on the road, no problems. When we have trucks coming towards us, the Caravan doesn't wobble around, it sits very stable. So that's what we do. All right, let's go turn these pumps on, and we'll see just how many litres we can get out of it. I'll just reset the dials. Yep. Okay, they're all reset. Let's do it. Okay, so we're now pumping out of our front tank. I'll just see what it's actually pumping out, just for curiosity. 7.7 litres a minute out of there, so 7.8. So yeah, just curious whether that'll actually slow down when we hook up our drainage hose. So we might just do that now. It's actually slowed down considerably, so I'm just going to take that off and we'll use a shorter one for this test. All right, that's pumping away at 7.9 litres a minute. Uh, we'll come over there. So far, we've 9.10, 10.2 litres. So once again, uh, rather than you guys waiting around to see what happens, we'll turn that off, and I think we'll come back when it's about, I don't know, 60 litres, eh? We'll do that. All righty, we'll see you in a few moments. Okay, guys, welcome back. All right, so we're still pumping out of tank number one. We're up to 66.8 or 67 litres now. So it certainly will be interesting to see how much more we can get out of it. Yeah, so that's all going on. So do you want to come in, Julie? Just have a quick look at that. And then I'm just going to disconnect that hose so that we know when it starts to falter. 70. All righty. I'm just going to disconnect that. We'll just let that run out on the ground. 72. It'll be interesting if we can actually get more out of it than we put into it. So that would mean that there was water in the bottom of the tanks that we couldn't get out, which I believe that is the case with the tanks, that you can't get all the water out of them. So the pump's just starting to play up now. I can hear the pump playing up. You can see the water flow just starting to drop off. We'll just let it go a little bit further. All right, so it's started to flicker around a bit there now. So what I'll go turn the tap off, and then we'll switch over the tank. So yeah, let's do that now. So we have a figure of 78 litres out of tank one. So interesting enough, we put 78 litres in, and we've actually pumped out the 78 litres. So in that regard, I'm reasonably happy. I thought it might be less. So just going to turn those tanks around now. So just bear with me just for 2 seconds. Might be a modification one day. We put these taps a little bit closer, but at the moment, I still have to get under and turn them. There's one. Crawl around on my hands and knees. Turn that one on. Okay, now I'm just going to clear someone. Okay, that's cleared. So, and some two will give us the tile total. Okay, so that's now pumping out of tank two. I'm just going to put that on there so we can control where the water's going and I'm not walking around in the mud. Alrighty, 4.3 litres. Certainly will be interesting just to see how this all pans out, won't it? I know since we did the video on the Adventure Pumps water transfer kit, it's been in the back of my mind just what we can get into them and what we can get out of them, and whether we need to do a modification so we can fill up from the bottom, or it's okay the way it is. So, all right, that's coming up to 8 litres now. Once again, we'll turn the cameras off, and we'll see you back at about 65 litres. Okay, so we're just coming up for 70 litres on our second tank. pumping out from the Caravan. So yeah, I'll disconnect this hose now so we can watch the flow as it comes out and just see when the tank's empty. But yeah, so far so good, going well. So I'll just take that one off there. Let's drop that down there. Right, so 74. I'm pretty happy with the amount it's pumped out, given what we put in. It's the amount we put in the first place. I'm not overly happy about. So uh, in the brochure of our Caravan, it says we have two 95-litre tanks. I will, before this goes to air, get under there with a torch and see if I can find somewhere where it says exactly how many litres them tanks are. But right now, I'm under the belief that they are 95-litre tanks, and we have two of them. So we're up to now 79 litres. So we're getting a little bit more out of this tank. But I can hear the pump starting to go a little bit funny inside. So we are definitely getting close to the end now. So um, you can see it starting to flicker a little bit there. So it's getting pretty close. Uh, okay, 82 litres. Yeah, really starting to play up now. So I think we'll turn it off at that and we'll go with that, eh? Because you can see it's stopping and starting, stopping and starting. So the pump's under a bit of pressure now. So yeah, I'll go turn that off and we'll leave it at that. Alrighty, so what we have is 84.7 litres there. So we'll say 85 litres. So 85 litres. 163 litres. So we've put 155 litres in, but we've managed to pump out 163 litres. So it goes to show there was still water in there even though we'd drained them tanks. And I'd tipped the van up and lowered it at the front to get as much water out as possible. So right now we're going to do that again. I'm going to tip the van up from the other side, lower the front. We're going to get as much water out of them tanks as possible, and then we're going to fill them up from the bottom. So we'll see you in another few moments. Okay, welcome back. Now for the bit we've all been waiting for, including me, to see if when we fill up from the bottom, we can actually get more into our tanks than when we fill in the top. So we've set it all up. Once again, we're going to do the front tank first. So I've reset all the dials. We've connected the hose to the thing. So I'm just going to go turn the tap on and let's see how we go. 'We just see how many, what the flow of the litres is. 18.2 litres a minute going in there. So we might just slow that down a little bit once again. 15.5, so we'll leave it at that, litres per minute going in. So, yeah, 13 litres so far. I will just say, so we emptied the tanks exactly the same as before. I lowered the front and we lifted that side up a bit. There was a fair bit of water still in the tanks that came out. I should have gone on to it a bit earlier, but about after a couple of minutes of water running out, I did go get the watering can. You see there, we've put a couple of litres into the watering can, so there was probably 5 litres at least went still drained out of the front tank. This is one tank only. Out of the front tank, once we jacked it up and put that drain plug to the front right-hand side. So, yeah. All right, we're up to 23.9. Once again, we'll just turn it off for a little minute, and we'll come back to you about the 65, 70 litre mark. Okay, everybody, welcome back again. We're just coming up now to 68 litres. Just zoom in there, Julie. Have a quick look in there. So it's gone along nicely, 69 litres so far. All's going well. It's certainly going to be interesting what we get in this tank, whether we get more or less than if we were filling from the top, and whether I actually have to do a modification. We'll just see how that goes. So coming up now, it's 72 litres, so we're going to find out real soon, aren't we? I think the first one cut out last time was about 78 litres, so 73 there now. Still filling up nicely. 74. So it is running quite slow. I wanted to try and make sure that we didn't push that much water in, that it left air gaps or anything. We wanted to fill out the spaces, make sure we got it what we could in there. So money down. Okay, we're starting to get a bit of a spurt over there, so we'll just let that go till it spurts out a bit more. And yeah, I think that might do it, eh? We'll just shut that off there. So I'll turn that tap off. Alrighty, so what did we end up with? 78.9 litres on the front tank. So I'll just put that down there. 78 point, what was it? 9, so 79 litres. 78.9 litres. So when we did it from the top before, we got 78 litres. So we've got an extra 1 litre in there. So what we might do now is we're just going to turn the camera off. I'm going to switch over the hose onto the back tank, and we'll go through the whole thing again. So we'll see you in a few moments. Okay, hi, welcome back again. All right, so we've put the hose now into the second tank. I'm just going to turn the water on, and we'll start the final bit of the test. All righty. Just come in there, Julie. We're just filling it up at about 9.8 litres a minute. I'll just actually, yeah, we'll leave it at that, 9.6, 9.7. And someone, we're up to about 4 or 5 litres. So what we're going to do now, once again, we'll come back when we're about 60 litres, something like that, 60, 65 litres, and we'll show you what we've got. Alrighty, we'll see you in a few moments' time. Okay, welcome back for the last time, guys. We're getting close to a result now. So we're up to 69.78, 70 litres. So, yeah, we shouldn't be too long now, and we're going to get the answer. So I think in this second tank on the first time, what did we get, Julie? We got second tank, 77 litres. So we didn't quite get as much as the first one. So this will be interesting this time if we can see exactly what we get. Just coming up now for 74 litres. Just keeping our eye on the tanks. It's still making a gurgling noise, but it is starting to spit out of the tank up there now. So we'll just let it go just a bit. We'll get a nice stream coming out of it. And I think that'll do. Going to turn it off now. So and what we end up with there, 79, 79.9 Well, we've lost 0.9 there, so we'll say 79. So 79 litres. All right. So, yeah, what can we say about that? So, in the first instance, filling from the top, we put in 155 litres of water. We then went and pumped out 163 litres of water. So we're able to pump out a little more than we put in. Maybe the pickup's just a little bit lower. And when we filled up from the bottom, we'd put in 158 litres. So, in fact, 3 litres more. It's still actually running out, so it's probably not even that. It's probably 2 litres. So, um, yeah. Uh, I think for the sake of a couple of litres, personally, I don't think I'll be making the modification to fill up from the bottom. I'm quite happy filling up from the top. Like I said, we usually use the bird beak. That works well for us. So, yeah, I think pretty happy with that. All right, I hope that's busted a few myths and helps you decide what to do with your system. I will say I will try to look into the tank size a little bit more. I was under there earlier and I had the torch. I could see the brand name, but I couldn't see a size on it. I'll see if I can pin down the size and the shape and actually make sure 100% that it is 95 litres. And we will put that at the start of the video somewhere in some text writing, or maybe I'll break into the video and let you know exactly what that was. But we will look into it. It just seems a little bit odd to me that, 100 where we have a maximum of 190 litres, that we can only put 155 litres into it. So, yeah, we certainly want a little bit more usable water than that. Alrighty, I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheerio. I hope you won the bet.